Hello, this is Harlan. I want to tell you how to get saved, really saved, and what salvation really means. They don't teach it today. And when I was a little boy, most of you know my history. I was raised in Appalachian Mountains, never been to church, never read a Bible, and nothing. They registered me to go in the Army when I was 15 to get rid of me, so I went in when I was 17. When I went in the Army, they asked me, they said, "Are you a Protestant?" I didn't know what Protestant meant. They said, like a Baptist. I said, no. And they said, "You're Catholic?" I said, no. And they asked me, was I a Jew? I thought a Jew was if you had something for sale for $2, they Jew you down to $1. That's the only way I'd ever heard the word Jew. And when I got through basic training with the 101st Infantry Division in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, stayed there 16 weeks, they shipped me to Hawaii. And I was in Hawaii, I was 17 years old. And I got there in 54. The 25th Infantry Division had just left Korea. And I was there on the base. It's Christmas Eve in 1955. And I was walking around the base, and there wasn't nobody at the company, you know. I went down to the beer garden. It was closed. It was Christmas Eve. I went down to where we had sports. They had a lot of sports in Hawaii. I was at Schofield Barracks. And there in that field was 1,000 men, I guess, or more. And I said, "Hey, you guys, why did y'all all get down here?" I didn't know what was going on. There was a bunch of them, and there's men in robes down there, and they was putting something in their mouth. Now, at that time, I didn't know that was the midnight mass at Christmas. I didn't understand the Holy Eucharist. I didn't understand none of those things. And I was sitting there by myself. And do you know something happened? I want to tell you, this is the way you're saved. God came down. I've never told this before. Just the last year or two, I didn't know how to explain it. He came down from heaven and hugged me. And I can still feel it. That's been 60 years ago. And I didn't know what it was. I knew God had been around me. I thought He was like the wind. It was like somebody turned a bucket of honey over in my belly. And it was so great and so wonderful. I was crying and laughing at the same time. Never had nothing. If I'd went through Harvard and Yale, I couldn't explain to you the feelings I had at that time. I don't have the vocabulary to articulate it. But as years went on, He told me, He said, "I guided you in your youth." And He would talk to me. And I'd tell Him, "Lord, why did you do that? Why did you say to me?" He said, "You're my child." He said, "I created you." And He saves us because He loves us. He didn't save. I didn't know nothing about no Bible. I didn't know nothing about religion. I didn't know nothing. And He saved me. Now that's the way you get saved. It's by God's love. It ain't by nothing else. It's not by reading the Bible. It's not by eating a cracker or drinking some wine. It's not by going to church and paying tithes. It's God's love that saved me. And I'm telling you, you can have this because He made you and He loves you. That's the way you get saved. It's not any other way. And I try to tell people this. It's the Holy Ghost comes in you because He loves you. He's our Father. He told me, He said, "You're my son." He come and lived in me. See, He loved me. I didn't know anything about Him. I didn't know what to do for Him. I just thought He was the wind when I was a little boy. So if you want God, tell God you love Him and you want His love. You're saved by grace. Only by grace. It's not by reading the Bible. It's not by going to church. It's not by paying your tithes. It's none of those things. It's only by His love. He saved me and wrote my name in the Lamb's Book of Life because He loved me. That's the only way you're going to get saved, children. There's nothing you can do. You can go through Bible college, tell you wear your eyeballs out. He came down and He hugged me because He created me. I'm made in His image. That's why He saves us. He loved us. Noah found grace in the eyes of God and saved the whole world. I don't care if you call it grace or charity or love. God came down and hugged me, and I didn't even know Him. I'd never been to church. I'd never knew anything. I didn't know what a Protestant was. And He saved me. He loved me. And He started teaching me about, said, don't go by the Bible. The Bible's an idol. Go by me. Go by my love. Let me lead you. You want to make it home? You tell God, I want your love. See, Peter, do you love me? That's what counts. That's the only thing that counts. All this other don't count. All these big preachers saying 50-cent words, they're no good. It's when the Holy Ghost touches you. That's life. Listen to what I'm telling you. I'm telling you about life. I'm telling you what God done for me. He made me His son. He wrote my name in the Lamb's Book of Life. I'll never forget that night. I didn't know nothing. And He turned that bucket of honey over my belly. And it's been 60 years ago. And it's still real today. And He's touched me many times. And He taught me many things after that. But there's nothing greater than God's love. You're saved by grace, not by works. It's by grace through faith that you're saved. And you obey God because He loves you. See, love is a feeling. And there's nothing like this love and feeling that God can put in you. He saves you because He loves you. That's the only way you're going to ever be saved, is by His love. So feel after God. Feel after Him. He said, this is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased. So let God live in you. Let the Holy Ghost live in you. And you're saved by grace, not by Bible teachings, not by eating a cracker, drinking wine. It's not by paying your tithes. It's not by going to church. God saves you because He made you. And He's your God. And there's nothing like this. I can't even really explain it. And I get touched when I think about it. I can't hardly tell it. Nobody tells the real truth. God is love, and He loves you. And have that love and feeling. I've got it still. I love God so much, I go pray to Him. And I want to obey Him because I love Him. He first loved me, and He come down from heaven, and He hugged me. And that's the way you get saved, is by the grace of the living God.